Oh, happy Tuesday. Feeling a lot more centered this morning. Did a piece around empowerment last night on Set the Standard Call. That was my question that I brought to the table. And we unpacked it, and it's really for myself. It's not empowerment, it's the fear of leaning in, allowing fear to disempower me and not leaning into that. Yeah, I think it's when you get not called out, but when the questioning comes through and it makes you aware of things that you're trying to, I feel you dance around. We know the answers, but we move around those to try and find other things to justify our actions and why we're doing what we're doing. But a lot of the time we are humans, we are based around fear and greed. Isn't that just the catalyst of the negativity of life and what we do? Fear and greed. But hey, I got up this morning, took some action, ran 21 kilometers, about hour and a half, a little bit over on the legs. Good pace. Took a bit to warm up, but felt good once I started. Had a bit of a headache to start with, but it's my body's reaction to that fear and how it's processing it, and my body is holding on to that emotion, storing it within the body, what the brain, and yeah, it's trying to disconnect from the mind and the icky feelings and stuff like that. And afterwards I had a really good conversation I was just at the beach having a coffee, and I spoke to a guy, Tim. He's just I don't even know how I met him, but he's just a local. It's always there. Really insightful guy, really knowledgeable, really grounded. And we just spoke about, I think it was just different things in life and nervous system. And I just asked him about like sleep and something I've been struggling to just get to sleep. And it's just my nervous system's so wired, and it's something that I feel a lot of people are struggling with, and it's getting into that rest and digest state. And I know previously I've had years of really good sleep, and my body's just like feels like safe and restful, and my head hits the pillow and I'm just like asleep. And I know it's a place that I can get back to, and it's something that's really critical to my training and recovery. Is something that I'm trying to put more of a higher importance to. So just some really good tips around like using your eyesight and stimulating the vagus nerve underneath like your jaw there. So some really good practical techniques I'm going to try. I better not try them through the day. I might go into some sort of deep sleep for a while, but I'll try them throughout. I'll try them tonight anyway, give some feedback. It's just my nervous system's so wired, I think, from just training and creating stress. I think like training is a stressful thing for the body, but being able to switch off from that as well. I think it's because I'm training twice a day, it's carrying through to my night. My body's just like always on edge, waiting for that next thing. So it's also practicing it as well during the day, not just like a one-off, but like being able to bring the body back and be in comfort and safety. So something I'm really conscious of. This morning I just wanted to add a bit more entertainment and interest to this vlog. I don't want to just continually be caught in the negative construct of the mind. I started reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Just did like 20 minutes, and he uses I really liked the story he had in there. I'm not sure it was from himself, but someone we'd heard of. I think it might be from ancient monks. I don't know. Anyway, it's the story of this guy who's been sitting on the side of the road for 30 years, and he sits on this box, and a man walks past, and this guy that just lives on the side of the road, he asks if he could have some money from this guy, and the guy says, "What are you sitting on?" And he says, "It's a box." And he asks him, "What's in the box?" And he says, "Nothing, it's empty." And he said, "Do you know that?" And so he's like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, show me." So the guy pries the box open, and inside the box is gold. And the moral of the story is like, this guy inevitably is like homeless and poor, but he's sitting on this box of gold, and that analogy is used for the human experience, and how it's about coming back to home and the consciousness of the self, and not letting the unconscious mind control all aspects of our life. And the premise of that book is around coming back to its enlightenment, and everything that we seek we already have within. And it's a crazy concept, and I think for me it's something I've heard many times, like over and over, and it's like, oh yeah, it's that, like, whatever, that's is that possible? Like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and meditate and be an enlightened being or something. And it's like, is that something that's possible? And it's I guess it's like a state of disbelief, and like, if it was like, why isn't everyone in that? And I feel it's almost like people talk about it, but you don't see it. So it's like, is it possible? I don't know. Is this one guy in billions or something? Is the story that I create for myself. And it's like, this one guy has become enlightened and blissful, but it's like, the matter of fact is there's probably millions and millions of people that are living in such a state, and they're actually around us. Like, the people do exist. And I think it's taking that story and turning it into a tangible belief system for yourself. And I think growth for myself at the moment really represents expanding my thought capacity a bit, in the same time like consciously rewiring my brain. I feel the last few years I've been in quite some negative loop patterns and things that have happened in my life, and the power of the mind and not being in such an unconscious state has led me to continually it's snowballed against me in a way. Like, my thought patterns and limiting beliefs and stuff like that have just got bigger and bigger over time through letting my brain unconsciously control my being. So it's like, how do I... It's led me down some dark paths and really challenging, and you can live in that state of, like, I think for me it's challenge and like struggle, and it's when you can, Eckhart spoke about it, it's like when you can relieve yourself of the struggle. Like, it doesn't have to be that hard. Life doesn't have to be so difficult, you know. And I think we search for these extrinsic things in our world outside of ourselves that are the reason for the struggle. And the fact of the matter is that we create the struggle, you know. There's people that are doing things that are perceived to be, you know, twice as difficult at me, as twice as busy, but I can create a state within myself that is more busy or more chaotic than anything. And I've been in that, where it's like I have this opportunity to sit in so much peace and enjoyment, but the power of the mind creates this, as opposed to my dream life and living in this, you know, amazing place of abundance and wealth and love. It's like I can live in a place of chaos. And when left to its own devices, the power of the mind is quite strong, and it's scary in a way. Like, it is truly scary, what the power of the mind and what it can create. And I feel for myself, my growth, and for something that is to be part of the minority of people who can control the power of their mind. That is like the superpower of this current century and this current place that we're in time, in society. And it takes work and time and discipline, but I'm now in the place of belief and knowing that it's possible, knowing that we can achieve it, anyone can achieve it. I know, like, I do some abnormal things, and I challenge myself in ways that are different to others, but I'm not talented nor special. I'm an ordinary human being, as are we all, and we're all possible of achieving greatness. And we put these limitations on ourselves that limit our potential and limit our potential and the dream life that we so desire. Yeah, everything we wish for is in the here and now. Everything that we ever hoped would come alive. Everything in the future is possible. It's about bringing the future into the now and summoning and calling forward what we wish and what we desire, and having clarity within self of what you actually wish for in your world, and having a deep sense of knowing and trust that what you are calling for is out there and in abundance, and not coming from a scarcity mindset, and using that power to achieve success, whatever that success is for you or what that represents in your world. I think money, love, time, joy, happiness, all these things are in abundance. There's unlimited seats in the theatre of happiness. It's not a place or an event that only some are invited to. We are all capable, whether we choose to take the path less travelled, whether we choose to do the difficult things now, whether we choose to be patient, whether we choose to prioritize ourselves. We are all, to an extent, we all have equal opportunity. And something simple I saw the other day on a post is that we live in a world full of an abundance of education and information. And it's so true. It's like I felt that through my message I need to help educate people, but it's like people are more likely to listen to people that they trust in. But at the end of the day, you can now put information, you can go into Google, and using AI will summarize and find answers so quickly. Whether they're fact or not is another question, but you can obtain that information in such a short amount of time. But People know the recipe. They know that smoking's not right for them, and they know it's not good, but people just need to be reminded, and I think it's more when they're open to the influence of others, open to the influence of people, that when they're open to people that positively influence them, it's about the constant reminders. People just need to be reminded that smoking's bad. If you don't believe that it's bad, like you are living under a rock, there's so much education. And it's not to say what's right or wrong, but people know the consequences of their actions, and if you can look at whatever you do in life and see the pros and cons of it, and you're willing to accept the negative consequences, then what's to say smoking is bad? I've hit 16 minutes already. That went really quick. I had some items here from Burning Man. I'm going to leave them here. These little trinkets, they've all got some really good stories to them, which I would love to share tomorrow, which I will. Trinkets galore. Some cool stuff here. It's a nice reminder to see them. Part of the Burning Man. Happy Tuesday!